Welcome back to another episode of the What We Gonna Do podcast. I am your host, AJ. I hope you all enjoyed the last episode, Lies We Tell. If you have not checked that out, go back and check that out. You know what I mean? Got a lot of good, good feedback on the episode. You know what I mean? I like doing little stuff like that. Most of my episodes, they kind of just come to me, and then I pretty much just get them out, you know what I mean? Sometimes I take time out, I do my research, and, I kind of just put things together and kind of get like get a structure together, but I like to freestyle. That's like been my favorite thing even since I was a kid, I'm always like a free writer. I don't want to use free and thinker. You know what I mean? Because we all know what that means now, thanks to Kanye. But I definitely feel like, I'm a free thinker or whatever. I like to freestyle a lot of stuff and just kind of come off the dome with it. Even if I'm familiar with a certain amount of information, I still like to freestyle it. Today's episode will be a little bit different. This one is going to be a little bit more structured, but y'all will get some of my comments. I like this topic. Before I get to talking too much, because y'all know I can kind of go on and on and on. Remember, you can find me on social media at What We Gon' Do Pod. That's GONE. That's on Twitter and Instagram. If you would like to email me, you can email me whatwegondo@gmail.com with any questions, any comments, any concerns. If you are thinking about starting a podcast, or if you are a new listener, if you've been listening to me for a while and you're like, I want to know if I can do that, you can do what I do. But this is what I want you to do if you're going to do what I do and what others do. Go to podbean.com/what we gonna do and get a free 30 days of unlimited hosting on me. Don't go nowhere else. Podbean going to get you set up, going to get you connected to wherever you need to go to. And again, you're going to get in that thing on me. If you have any problems, let me know. Hit me up. If you would like to support the show, please visit patreon.com/what we gonna do. And make a donation, help a brother out. Or if you want to cash at me, if you want to talk to me about some business, inbox me. I got a cash app for the podcast. I got some other ways, we can link up, whatever. DM me. I don't have no problem with that if you really want to talk about something. All right. Again, this episode is going to be a little bit more structured. We have a specific topic. If you've seen the title, if you've read the show notes, you already know what we're talking about. If you've been on Twitter, hell, if you just have looked at the news, you should know what I'm about to get into. Initially, I was wondering what happened in St. Louis. If you haven't heard, I'm going to talk about it. I had no prior knowledge on the situation in STL, so I was just like everyone else until it hit my Twitter. I intended to make this a mini-sode, but that didn't happen. The reason why this stuck out to me was not just because the challenger was black, but that the incumbent had been in this position for 28 years. And I'm only 31, so I can only imagine the influence and ramifications this individual had on this community. There have been many happenings like this as far as it becoming public knowledge, but this one caught me. Wesley Bell oust longtime St. Louis prosecutor. That has been the headline. Over the past week or so, you've seen it. Somewhere you've seen that name. You've kind of heard about it. Unless you just follow a bunch of ratchet shit, then maybe you didn't hear about it. Let me start off with this for those of you who don't know what a prosecutor is. Because even me, I was like, okay, let me make sure I understand what a county prosecutor is. A county attorney in many areas of the United States is the chief legal officer for a county or local judicial district. Prosecutors are lawyers whose job it is to represent the people against a person or person charged with violating the criminal laws of the United States. For example, civil rights, civil liberties, or those of a given state. They usually only become involved in a criminal case once a suspect has been identified and charges need to be filed. I'm going to break this down a little bit further. Civil rights, as I mentioned before, guarantees of equal social opportunities and equal protection under the law. regardless of race, religion, or other personal characteristics. Civil liberties are personal guarantees and freedoms that the government cannot abridge, either by law or by judicial interpretation, without due process. Though the scope of the term differs between countries, civil liberties may include the freedom of conscience, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, the right to security and liberty, freedom of speech, the right to privacy, the right to equal treatment under the law and due process, the right to a fair trial, and the right to life. That was a quick little overview of civil rights and civil liberties. There is a difference. This will not be a long episode. I'm gonna keep it, straight and to the point. Like I said, I initially intended for this to be a mini-sode, but I just didn't have the time. I've been having a good time, just being a featured podcast on the Podbean site. So shout out to Podbean. I appreciate them. I appreciate all the new followers. I appreciate the new followers on social media, the people who've been talking to me, hollering at me, anybody who supported me. I appreciate all that. So I just didn't have the time. Time kind of gets away from me. I'm spending time with my wife. I'm spending time with my daughter. I'm trying to have some time to myself. One thing I did this weekend was I caught up on a lot of TV shows and movies. Well, specifically, I caught up on a lot of Netflix and movies or whatever. Not Netflix and chill. I mean, I was chilling, this, that, and the third, but it was just me. I was kind of just binge watching some stuff or whatever. But back to the main point of this episode, because it ain't about me. But I definitely didn't have the time to kind of flip this and turn this into a mini-sode right after it had actually come out, like I said, a little over a week ago. So as we fast forward a little bit, again, we're going back to talk about Wesley Bell and what happened in St. Louis. So Robert McCulloch, who is known as Bob McCulloch, has been St. Louis County's prosecuting attorney for 28 years. Through his 7 terms in office, McCulloch has earned a reputation for upholding law and order by aggressively prosecuting alleged criminals, unless said criminals happen to be cops. In his entire tenure, McCulloch has never indicted a single police officer for killing an unarmed civilian in the line of duty. That piece of McCulloch's record garnered national attention in 2014 after Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson fatally shot 18-year-old African-American Michael Brown and triggered a national Black Lives Matter movement. What's so crazy about this is I actually know Mike Brown. And so when I heard it, it fucked with me, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, to know that this was a young man, that this could have been somebody that I knew, not like knew literally, but just somebody in that age range. You know what I mean? It really just fucked with me. And then, of course, when all of the details came out and all of these different things, I actually cried over this, man. I'm not going to go back through the whole thing, but this was a big deal, especially for me, and just, all of the stuff that was surrounding this, and just people have a right to life. You know what I mean? People have a right to live. Regardless of certain things, that doesn't mean that these individuals deserve to die. And that's kind of the most fucked up part about it, is that these individuals are dead and these other individuals get to live, and nobody gets to tell the story. Nobody gets to see the other side. Everybody kind of just goes on about their day. Now, these other individuals, their lives are fucked up for the rest of their life. And I mean the people that are living, that committed these crimes. And yes, I do call them crimes, but that other individual doesn't get to live. They don't get to see another day. They don't get to experience anything else. These other individuals, as fucked up as their lives might be, they get to live. Back to the main topic. So with all of that being said, and everything that kind of surrounded Bob McCulloch, elected leaders, activists, the NAACP, and the county executive all said McCulloch's choice was a simple one. Step down and let a special prosecutor lead the case. McCulloch refused. In that case, McCulloch made the unusual decision to impanel a grand jury to investigate the shooting without recommending that said jury bring charges in the case. Instead, McCulloch presented the grand jury with a variety of evidence and encouraged it to reach its own conclusions about whether the shooting qualified as a criminal act, which was intentionally designed to produce a no bill. If you want to know what a no bill is, go ahead and Google it and you can find out what exactly a no bill is. This is related to, again, just talking a little bit about Bob McCulloch, how he handled that situation, how long he's been in this position, and how he's kind of governed and did his job while in this position. Wesley Bell has been serving his second term as a member of the Ferguson City Council, who also served as a public defender, municipal prosecutor, and judge. Bell grew up in North St. Louis County and is the son of a police officer, and his mother works for St. Louis County. He grew up with respect for law and order and believed in giving back to the community. The year after Ferguson, Bell ran for and won a seat on the Ferguson City Council. He ran for the prosecutor's job on a reform platform and pledged to put a new face on criminal justice in St. Louis County. Now, I also read some other information that said he had been working for about 17 years as far as being in law and just different positions and being department heads and all of this other kind of stuff. So this is a fairly new individual, as Bob McCulloch called him, that he doesn't really understand the complexities of the job and this, that, and the third. And he believes that BLM is the reason for all of this. And essentially he felt like he should have gotten another term. Now, again, this all is thanks to the groundwork and the grassroots and individuals like Sean King and other individuals as well. But again, nobody knew this guy's name. There are all these little races going on. And even me, I'm like, yo, where's, you kind of just hear about it like after the fact. Oh, there's this race going on. Make sure you pay attention to this name. Oh, this is going on. Oh, this is going on. Even I heard after this that Michael Brown's mother is actually running for city council. So that's pretty interesting right there, that she's decided to actually take a position like that. And I also read that Wesley Bell was involved in protesting all of the things that went on when Michael Brown was killed, and he was involved like 2 days after, and then 2 years after he ran for these different positions. And so he's kind of been moving forward and being more known as a face and being in front of the people. So of course I've told you a little bit about Robert McCulloch, Wesley Bell. So let me get to what you guys need to know. The St. Louis County prosecutor's race. Robert McCulloch's 28-year run as St. Louis County's elected prosecutor came to a stunning end Tuesday when he was upset by a Ferguson councilman who promised to reform the criminal justice system. Bell defeated McCulloch in a Democratic primary Tuesday night after campaigning on pledges to appoint special prosecutors in police shooting cases, encash bail for low-level offenses, expand the county's drug courts, provide more low-level drug offenders with alternatives to incarceration, and never pursue the drug penalty in a case. So, there is some other information about that he's not just talking. He doesn't believe in, talking. He believes in action. These are not just points of political influence to kind of get everybody riled up, that he really intends to serve this community and serve in his position. Wesley Bell, 43, earned 57% of the vote in the Democratic primary, according to unofficial results, with no candidate from any other political party in the race. Bell will run unopposed in November, which will make him the first African American to hold the St. Louis County prosecutor's post. What this means? Prosecutors are enormously powerful in the U.S. criminal justice system, in large part because they are given so much discretion to prosecute however they see fit. Prosecutors have the power to decide whether to bring charges against police officers, and also are given enormous power over grand juries to get an indictment. Hence the saying that prosecutors can get grand juries to indict a ham sandwich. I've never heard of that. Maybe y'all have, and I can actually see how that makes sense, because I was like, ham sandwich. But then when I thought about it again, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. To indict a ham sandwich. So again, they have that influence over juries to get an indictment and in the courtroom generally. By successfully campaigning for progressive prosecutors, criminal justice reformers stand to change this dynamic. It's crucial this happens at the local and state level too, where the majority of the criminal justice system takes shape in the U.S. That's the big picture. That's essentially the end. To just talk about what's going on in our country, how Wesley Bell is one of those individuals that's going to change something from an individual who has been in this position for 28 years. That is striking to me. Even when you look at all of these different state officials who've been in government since the 80s, and I'm just like, man, that's crazy. I know typically we go with the name that you know. And so that is how these individuals are able to get reelected. But what are they actually doing? What are they actually voting on? Are they keeping in line with their promises? Are they doing their job? How do we police the police? How do we police these state officials? How do we police these state prosecutors and ensure that they do their job? And if they are not willing to do what is obligated by their position, that these individuals are removed from those positions. That there are individuals that come up and that run against these individuals and try to change what's going on. Wesley is an individual who has said he's seen the ramifications of this prosecutor and his lack of engagement and action where action was needed. And of course, Bob McCulloch was like, no, he's just, he just doesn't understand. And I'm just like, I don't know everything about Wesley Bell. I don't know everything about Bob McCulloch. But what I do know is there's a reason that this individual won. People came out to vote. People came out to support. And this is not just black people. Like, different types of individuals actually came together and feel like, hey, we're ready for a change. This individual may even be a better reflection of St. Louis County, because we already know the different demographics, and as far as Ferguson and some of these other places, as far as black cops and white cops and who's actually policing here and the state police and all of these different things. If you don't know that, go out, look it up. Remember, read, people, read, Google. I did a lot of this stuff. I watched the news. I remember, J. Cole went down there. He didn't really want to talk, and I think Don Lemon ran up on him. Don Lemon, this is a little sidetrack, but Don Lemon has been doing, I guess, like a 360 to where he's coming back to the other side, like he's coming from the sunken place, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? I just take information as I get it. For me, the verdict is still out on Don Lemon. But I hope he is taking, let's say a good path or a better path, and not being so narrow-minded, about certain things, you know what I mean? Or at least being open to looking at them from a different way than the narrative that he has pushed over the years in his position. And again, Don Lemon to the world is black. And I know y'all will say, man, there are different types of black, there are different... That is true. But if you know, you know. You know what I mean? Like, there are different kinds of black. And, there's house niggas, there are field niggas, there are light niggas, dark niggas, still nigga. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you look this way, you're a reflection of the community. Whether you like it or not, whether you are above it, whether you are not even connected to it, if you get caught up, you just like everybody else. I think I heard about a story about Vin Rames. Police got called over to his house, and he had to, it's just like, still nigga. We know about LeBron and the whole thing with the spray paint and him saying he gonna have to get a bigger gate. Still nigga. You know what I mean? It's just like, Don Lemon, this is how you look to the world, and whether you want to acknowledge it or not, brother, you are black, I'm not even going to get too far into that. But this is significant. And y'all see it going on all around the country, that people want to kind of talk about this blue wave. And I don't necessarily want to kind of just ride on that blue wave thing, because I feel like it's not only about these individuals getting into these positions, and I saw a little bit about how the ACLU kind of endorsed Wesley Bell, but really they kind of talked about both candidates because they typically don't like to endorse a specific candidate. But I just want to see the right people in the right positions. And I do want to see some of these people with this backwards and old thinking out of the way. Especially, I don't care what color you are, black, brown, blue, purple. If you have been in your position for a significant amount of time and people feel like you're not getting anything done, people feel like you're no longer creating change and allowing for change, it's time for you to go. If you're just there and you're a figurehead and you're a name and you're no longer acting, I'm ready to see those people get moved out of the way. I don't care if you are with the CBC, which is the Congressional Black Caucus. I don't care what you are, NAACP, whatever thing you're with. You know what I mean? If you are just there and you're not doing or fulfilling that position and how people look at that position, and not just somebody who's just there to talk, because people want to know, what actions are you guys taking? I want to know what actions individuals are taking. I'm not riding with all the black people. I'm not riding with all the white people. When I see cool white people, I fuck with them. When I see cool black people, I fuck with them. When I see people that relate to me and my community, I fuck with them. I don't just kind of mess with anybody just because they're black. That was a big thing with Barack Obama, and are you voting just because of this? And I said, yes. But I'm also voting for more than that, even if he wasn't black. If it was somebody, it's like, hell yeah, I'm voting because he was black. I didn't vote for Ben Carson black ass, though. There's a difference. There was way more to why I voted for Barack Obama. But yes, in addition to all of those things, I am voting for this man because he is black. Yeah. I know I'm kind of getting off onto a tangent at this point, but like I said, this is going to be a short episode, but I want y'all to kind of pay attention to what's going on, man. And I think that this is amazing. I think that this is significant. Hopefully you guys are encouraged to go out and find out more information about Wesley Bell, St. Louis County, as well as individuals in other parts of the United States that are changing the narrative, that are getting into these positions, that are winning these races from their grassroots. Wesley Bell was not predicted to win. He did not have the fundraising. They didn't believe he had the support. And here he is. Somebody who's been in that position for 28 years is out, and now you got somebody new. And he's going to be held accountable. Same thing I think about the I Promise School, which of course I think I might have talked about a little bit. That's dope. It's amazing. I have nothing bad to say about it, but I am definitely looking forward to the future and what actually comes out of this. And I hope that there are more schools and so on and so forth. And I hope it's done the right way. I hope the curriculum is good. I hope the students really enjoy it, and I really hope it impacts families, and it really is a big change in the world. I'm done. I'm gonna let y'all go. This is AJ. This is the What We Gonna Do podcast. Remember, I'm on social media at What We Gonna Do Pod. If you would like to start a podcast, please visit podbean.com/What We Gonna Do. If you would like to support the show, please visit patreon.com/What We Gonna Do and give me a donation. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, email me whatwegonnado@gmail.com. Please like this. Please review. Please subscribe. Please retweet on social media. Do all of that good stuff and help me out. You know what I mean? I need all the help that I can get to make this bigger and make this better. All right, y'all. If y'all got any questions about this, anything that I did not touch on, if anything wasn't clear, let me know. You know what I mean? This is something, again, like I said, I just kind of put it together. I wanted to outline everything and kind of just give you the facts and not really deviate too much. So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode and just learning a little bit about what happened in the St. Louis County Prosecutor's race. And y'all have a good day. Have a good weekend. Whenever you hear this, I hope that everything in your life is multiplied for the better. I hope that your cup runneth over, all of that good stuff. All right, I'm out, y'all. Peace.